I'm live.
You're live.
I'm live. What's good? What's good? What's good? TikTok. Um. Hey, yeah. Wow. I'm just gonna level with everybody. Barely saw the Kansas City game, so that won't be. If I was to comment on that game, I'd probably be like a C minus doing this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Cowboy Reed tell me what the three keys to the win were for you guys. I saw the final 5 minutes.
Broncos.
Okay, come on in. Come on in.
Hey,
Yeah, put your face on here.
Broncos. We stopped that little quick game. Travis Kelce had that touchdown. That was great. We ran the ball. J.K. Dobbins out. Prayers up to J.K. Dobbins out for the season. But hey, Jaleel McLaughlin stood up big time. R.J. Harvey, look at him. And Bo Nix. Bo Nix, the biggest storyline. He made the throws. He was dotting them. Broncos country, let's fly.
He made the damn throws, dude. He made the throws. And honestly, I did see the Mahomes pick in the red zone. Terrible. In a low-scoring ball game, you get down in the red zone, you just can't do that. I don't care who you are. So we'll get into that game tomorrow a little bit. But Bo Nix absolutely made the throws when he counted down the stretch. Kind of continuing the trend today. You know, they showed a deal on the I don't know, 1 p.m. game or whatever with like if the playoffs started today deal, which Dr. Fax has pointed out ad nauseum on my show. But like Chiefs would be out, no better after the result of that game. I think they had the Bills in wild card. Ravens were, I believe, out at this point. Or were they in the? But it just, you went down the list, all these juggernaut teams with the best quarterbacks in the league not playing their best this year. It kind of underscores the theme that we've kind of talked about a little bit, which is like this year is not as much about quarterbacks as it is about roster construction and coaching and defense and that sort of thing. And like, Broncos fans, you might say, hey, well, you're not giving Bo credit. I got to watch the game. I thought he made the throws down the stretch, but anybody that take Bo over Patrick Mahomes, I would say drug test that person. Now that game comes down to Denver's defense being really dominant, if I had to guess. So we'll go look at that thing. But Josh was really up and down today. Lamar wasn't great. I had the privilege of watching that game a good bit, probably more than I should have. I'll start there. It's not the most important game of the week, but it was my white whale game. I kind of put it all on the under today, under 38.5, strangely, in Cleveland. What could go wrong? Probably a Keaton Mitchell drop that turns into a pick six, probably a Mark Andrews fake tush push that would have just secured the win. And, honestly, they end up sweating down in the end zone with Shedeur Sanders leading a possible game-tying drive because they don't fucking kick the field goal. They score too fast and ruin the total for me. I mean, that if you could have heard the noise that came out of my mouth, I'm pretty sure the guys in here were like, I feel bad for my boss for once. That was brutal. That was fucking brutal. And we got to see Shedeur Sanders in the game.
I'm sorry.
First look at Shedeur Sanders, probably not ready. Just like the other Browns quarterbacks. What a fucking shocker, dude. I'm glad we could get that out of the way, man. Like, honestly. Rooting for that kid, rooting for Dylan Gabriel, rooting for all of them. But this NFL shit ain't that easy. Like, the first third down, you get, like, Kyle Hamilton in your face. He spins off like a back or something, like he's a damn pass rusher. The next one ends in a pick. But really nice job on the drive at the end of the game. Now, he missed some big throws in the end zone. So again, I'm trying to be fair to the kid. His first start, he wasn't ready. I don't question his preparation. I'm just saying he's not quite ready yet. It's hard to come in cold when Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. And, Awuzie made a play in the end zone that fucking probably spared us a great deal of first take conjecture over the next like 7 to 14 days, because that ball was put on a dime. It was right on the receiver, and Awuzie plays through his hand. Now he missed the ball like just prior to that. So we won't talk about that game anymore because who the fuck cares? Right? That's what you're saying. The biggest games of the day. We'll start in the 4 p.m.s because that was the game of the day. Seattle, LA. I thought coming into this game, the two teams that were playing the best in the NFL. Now you're going to come out of this game and say, the story is, and it's Sam Darnold in a big spot again, 4 picks. You can kind of tell watching this guy play that even with all the goodwill he builds up, and Josh Allen was awful in spots today, but at the same time played like an MVP in so many other spots. And I'm not saying he is the MVP, but what I am saying is, like, if you're going to throw 4 picks, I need you to make some big time throws too, because you are as bad as it was, your team, that roster construction, John Schneider, the coaching job from Mike McDonald. I mean, like, they put the clamps on the Rams after the first quarter there. That was very impressive. The Rams kind of jump you at home. That's game script for the Rams, because we said coming in they'd be able to run the ball. Like, that would be a perfect script for them. But Mike had them kind of batten down the hatches, which is a testament to him, despite being fucked over by their offense with all those damn picks. And you still have a chance with the arguably subpar clock management at the end of the game with the football, and a chance to kick the ball between the uprights and win the game, throwing 4 picks. So I know you come away from this game and, like, you're going to turn on the TV tomorrow and you see people talking about Sam Darnold and how terrible he is. And, the burden is on him to prove people wrong in those big spots, and he didn't do it today. I will say this, though. If you're a Seahawks fan, your team's pretty good. Guy threw 4 picks. You have a chance to win that game at the end of the game against, in my opinion, the only quarterback of all the quarterbacks that we expected to be the best in the league this year to play like it, like, consistently all year long. That's been Matt Stafford. We didn't see the Drake May thing coming. Maybe we thought the Herbert thing would do. Herbert didn't play well today either. Stafford is the difference in those two teams right now. We talked about, like, it's kind of Spider-Man meme between these two teams where it's like, man, they do so many things good. And we said coming into the game, one of the big differences might be the special teams, because Seattle has been so good on special teams, the Rams not so good. It actually, surprise, surprise, in this game ends up being the quarterback. And that's an uncomfortable truth that the remainder of the year is going to kind of be following this team around. And whether it's fair or not, because other quarterbacks definitely get mulligans, right? Like I said, Josh was in a win where they scored fucking 6 touchdowns or whatever it was. He had some terrible, terrible reps today. The Mahomes pick in the red zone. I mean, shoot, we've seen 2+ years of inconsistency from Kansas City's offense. Lamar can have a bad day. If you're Sam Darnold, you kind of can't have a bad day. And that's the reality you're living in, and that's the reality that team is living in. I thought the Rams were probably feeling like coming in this game, like, hey, all we're talking about is the Seahawks defense. Somebody on TikTok wants to co-host. They invited me to co-host. What does that mean? He wants to be on the show?
Yeah. It'd be half and half. Let's find out who it is.
No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't just let random people. It'd be a bad precedent. Let random people in here. But I thought the Rams defense showed up and said, hey, like, I'm fucking tired of everybody talking about the Seattle defense. We play pretty damn good defense as well. Chris Shula, those guys, they brought pressure, but I thought in those big spots that it was the front 4. And that's the superpower of the Rams defense, is they can get pressure with 4. They mix in some pressures. We talk about that a lot. You got some scrappy guys on the back end, but they did that without Quentin Lake through much of the game. So really impressive from the Rams defense. And, Rams doing enough, in the red zone with their opportunities where Seattle was kicking field goals early, the Rams getting the ball down there, punching it in, the run game. I think sometimes you see, and we talked about this coming into the game, if the Rams can get big bodies on those backers, they're just a bigger, more physical unit. If you can get past that front, if you can find a way to get past that front, whether it be like stay light, spread them out, or just, whether it's creative gap scheme runs or duos, just like, burying backers. That's the one thing you worry about in that matchup when it comes to Seahawks defense. So, shoot, what else do I have from that damn game? The problem is the Sam Darnold picks are in the second half, at least. I can't remember the situations first half, but second half, it's a 1st and 20, I think it is. He throws a pick on a 1st and 20, and then down 2 scores late in that game. All you have to do is throw it away or hit JSN who's open. Instead, you go hero ball because you're pressing and because you're like, that's the problem. Sam Darnold can't take the field being like, I've thrown 3 picks, I got to make something happen. I'm not saying that's what he took the field thinking, but it's what he did on third down 2 scores with a chance to just kick fucking field goal and keep that game alive. Now they end up with a chance to win it at the end because they're a very good team. Defense, how many defenses willingly just punt the ball back, in situations like where Mike McDonald punted the ball late in that game on 4th and short and feel good about that situation, kicking the ball to the Rams. Well, they're one of the few teams that can do that. So I can't wait to see the next matchup between those two teams. I can guarantee you, Sam, just by the law of averages, won't play as bad. And that game will be in Seattle. So it ain't over for Seattle, but golly, that's ugly. It's like an uncomfortable truth. It's an inconvenient truth where, everybody in that building knows it when you come to work the next day. And Sam's got to be tough enough mentally to take the field like it didn't happen next week. And so it's really interesting. So I'll make sure I didn't forget anything else in that game. Rams special teams. I want to give them some love because we talked about this coming into the game. Rams special teams, big mismatch, right? Seattle's been great. I can guarantee you they lose that game. Simple math. If they don't punt the ball out on the 1-inch line, dude, that was one of the best coffin corner punts I've seen all season. And it's in the biggest spot that honestly, you look back at the end of the season, if we're talking about home field, we're talking about winning the West. That punt, as bad as your special teams have been to pin them in that situation, it took 61-yarder, right? He hit a 57 earlier. He had, probably 4 or 5 yards on that thing. He missed that kick, wide right and short at the end of the game. But, if that's touchback, maybe that's an easier kick. So just impressive. And the Gray Zabel thing really hurts you if you're Seattle, right? Like, just fucking hurts you. I don't know what his situation is going to be, but he was one of your best dudes. And the fact that Anthony Bradford is on the field, right, tells you don't have a lot of depth there, which is sad because now, Cross and Lucas are good players, but they're not world beaters out there. And now you're going to have a backup left guard, Bradford at right guard. You're down Sundell today, right? It might be shaping up to look a lot like it looked in Minnesota at the end of last year. If you're being pessimistic, if Zabel's out for a long time, they can't afford any more injuries. So bad deal. Hate to be Sam Darnold today. He's got to put that one to bed. The big game in the 1 p.m.s was this. Let's see. Big game in the 1 p.m. Bills Bucs. And I already alluded to it. Josh was a total fucking mixed bag, man. Total mixed bag. It's funny right off the bat, brilliant call by Todd Bowles to be like, yeah, let's send Servassier Dennis. He doesn't know what he's doing in coverage. That's the best play they have. And Josh just playing hero ball, backed up. You can tell, kind of coming off that Miami game where they were so shitty, he wanted to, make things happen. And, survived today because I'm trying not to put this too simply, but the highs are high. You know what I'm saying? The highs are high. Classic hot crazy scale thing, right? She's insane. Yeah, there's some things you don't know. And those were the plays that he was making today because, a couple weeks in a row, you can't run the ball. They put up 44 points in a game where they turned it over 3 times. They're down Kincaid. They're down Keon Coleman, who is dancing on the sideline, and he's suspended in-house because he misses a meeting on Friday. Might be better off without him. Shavers is your leading receiver. We said it'd be a day for the backs. It was a day for the backs. You got Curtis Samuel playing volleyball on the sideline, making spectacular catches that don't have to be spectacular. And like I said, Josh was bad. So, and I don't mean all the time, but the moments were rough, but he kept hacking at it, man. Like the way that game was played, if that were a lower possession game, they might lose it. Like if that were a lower scoring game, they might lose it. But it was like as soon as I saw it become a shootout, I just felt like eventually when Jamel Dean went down, especially with Josh Palmer back, like in that game, like that's a big deal. And the Gabe Davis thing, that makes sense. The Davis thing is like comes in cold off the street, right? And you don't make a move at the deadline, right? And I don't even know if they were going to. There was a rumor about Waddle, right? There was a Waddle rumor, and Bean wouldn't part ways with what he had to sell to get Waddle. Gabe Davis, I mean, fine with me. He is he's a functioning receiver, and he has a lot of history with Josh Allen. And so, yeah, like you think about the guys that there's not a lot of guys walking around the street, and maybe Gabe Davis isn't worth the shit somewhere else. Like Sean Payton's not going to be able to do anything with Gabe Davis, but Josh Allen can do something with Gabe Davis. And honestly, like love to see more. But if it's Keon Coleman or Gabe Davis out there, like, Keon's just taking up a spot right now. And I feel like those guys, not to be too rough on the young guy, I think get better eventually. It's only year 2 for him, right? Like took me a while to fucking figure it out in the league, like a year and a half. So I'm not saying he can't be a guy, but right now, draft picks aside, you got to win with who the best guys are out there and who has the best rapport with your quarterback. And honestly, like that guy's caught a lot of balls from Josh Allen. So for me, that was a good sign. Getting the ball to the backs was a good sign because that was what was supposed to be on the menu. And like Shakir said this, and I think it's really telling. It's a compliment to the Bucs because that defense hadn't looked like that, right? Like they've kept points down. Like they've given up some explosives and that sort of thing, but they sell out to stop the run. They're going to play man, and they played man today in a lot of spots. Shakir said, "Hey, Parrish, Dean, all these guys, they're the most physical group of corners that we're going to play." And so I understand why Todd Bowles plays man, even risking what Josh can do with his legs. Because when you play man, there's backs turned to the quarterback, trailing receivers, the whole deal. But what it does is it puts you in bad spots in your in your matchups with backs. And we saw James Cook leak out through like the backside B gap or whatever, and he's on Nelson. Just bad matchups. I think Ty Johnson, somebody caught the ball in the flat on the right side, and Milano's, in traffic, kind of stuck. And so, not Milano, somebody else was. But the point is, like, getting the ball to the backs was going to be a big deal, and they did. And it looked a lot. It reminded me of the Detroit game last year, where you got Ty Johnson catching balls out of the backfield, big explosives. That was a big part of it, and that's what you got to do when Kincaid's out and Shavers is your leading receiver. So, and shit, I was thinking about getting up here and not to like sugarcoat it because I think Josh played poorly, and I think he played really poorly last week. But like I was thinking about justifying his poor play and comparing it to like Cam Newton game, and I mean that as a compliment to Cam Newton, like and the irony of it is Cam Newton, who put his team on his back every fucking week, sometimes you had the turnovers, but like he's Superman and he's going to score points. He's going to create with his legs. That's what Josh did today. And the supreme confidence to just kind of say, hey, fuck it, next play. And the irony is he tied him today for most touchdowns ever by a quarterback. So weird day for Cam because that deal, and then Bryce Young, my short prince in Carolina, broke the Carolina Panthers passing record for a single game. That's pretty awesome for the short prince down there. We'll get to that in a second. But so anyways, Gabe Davis makes a lot of sense. Getting the ball to the backs made a lot of sense. Got to figure out the run game. But that's kind of what Todd does. Cole Bishop made some great plays today. Interception, 2-point conversion, pushing dude out of bounds. Bernard made plays. Return game was great other than the fumble. And yeah, big win for Buffalo. Big win for Buffalo. I think the Bucs will be okay. They'll be fine. I think it felt like a playoff game. We said that earlier. We were like, this feels like a damn playoff game. So let's see. Panthers only a game back now in the NFC South. That's the wild thing about the Bryce Young thing. It's not for nothing. Somebody said, what do I have against Shavers? He does wear 14 like Diggs. And I don't dislike Shavers, but like you're asking that question is kind of like intellectually dishonest. Like I didn't call him an asshole. I just said he's your leading receiver. He shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, we got 10, 15 minutes till kickoff. I'm going to breeze through this shit, but Panthers only a game back. Bryce Young for 450. Good for him, man. Like the up and down is a little hard to, you know, as somebody who's constantly defended him, I got to kind of get quiet for a week. I got to kind of be like, I didn't see that game. And then I'm like, yo, did you see that shit today? 450, drove him down to win the game. I'll say this about him. I see a lot of great quarterbacks missing balls that he makes all the time. Like his placement when he's on is really on. And 3 touchdowns on the day. Broke Cam Newton's record. Pretty awesome. Penix supposedly was cooking a little bit early in the game too before he got hurt. So, be interested to dive into that. And the Bears, man, tight ends getting it done for Caleb Williams in a game where Brian Flores blitzed 78% of the fucking time. 78% of the time. You would think Caleb Williams did something personal to like Brian Flores. That's crazy. And the Bears' quietest 7-3 football team in the NFL. Look at the end of game situations for them. The way they're finishing games this year compared to last year. I think that's like, listen, they don't have a bunch of points on the board at the end of the Chicago game. They score like 2 touchdowns in 3 minutes of offense. They have 150 yards in 3 minutes of offense. Great. End of game. Awesome. Offense gets it done. Freak show touchdown. Loveland a couple weeks ago, Cincinnati. They block a field goal against the Raiders earlier this year. They run the clock down perfectly to kick a game-winning field goal against Washington. I might be forgetting one, but it's today. It's big return, right? You do all that work to win a low-scoring ball game. Minnesota goes and scores, and you got like a minute, under a minute to go. Great kick return. These are the things that you look at that you say good football teams do. It's like, hey, maybe it's time we call them a good football team. They're flawed, but they're a good football team. Flawed, but good. And in position to compete for that division right now. Not in the future, right now. Pretty wild. They'll be watching Sunday Night Football. I can guarantee you that in a couple minutes. So, Jags, belt to ass. Can't wait to hear Dr. Facts tomorrow. Golly, dude. I mean, when Vegas knows, Vegas knows. You just got to stay away. I mean, you just got to stay away on that thing. My bad. Good for Liam Cohen. He was walking with a little pep in his step at the end of that game. And look who they did it with outside. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not about how shiny the cars are. I thought Trevor Lawrence did a good job in the middle of the field. Now, I had one eye on that game. But obviously they made life hell for the Chargers, who at this point, I'm going to have to do a prayer circle for Herbert tomorrow. We were saying maybe we bust out the prayer candles for my dude because, he almost creates kind of a standard that he can't live up to some weeks. When you look at, I called it earlier this year, I said it was like, and there's some good players on that football team, but like when they're on offense, sometimes it looks like Make-A-Wish, I want to play football with Justin Herbert. And there's a bunch of guys playing football with Justin Herbert. And today they got that ass kicked. Maybe he shouldn't play in Jacksonville anymore. It's like, it's like that place got bad juju for him. So I don't know what else I didn't hit or what I did hit, but Fun day of football. Fun day of football, even with the brutal beat in the Cleveland and Baltimore game. I feel wronged in that game. There has to be some sort of a class action lawsuit. Like at the end of the game, I was rooting for Baltimore to lose. That's how petty I am, because Todd Monken did too good a job on 4th and 1. That was just such an aggressively great call. Such an aggressively great call. Fuck that guy, dude. Respectfully. Unbelievable. But yeah, we got the game tonight. I lean under because I just texted somebody up there. I was like, yeah, it's pretty windy up there, huh? Somebody was like, yeah, just came from outside. It's super fucking windy. And it feels like when the Lions have the ball, they're going to want to shorten this game because they don't like the matchups outside. And those are the ones the Eagles have to win because the middle of the field will be tough to operate in with those backers. You have to make throws outside the numbers. Jalen did not do that really last week for much of the game. That's usually where they kind of, and it's been feast or famine. That's going to be interesting. 46.5 is the total. Let's buy the half point and take it to 47. The Spain game? That was the most brutal fucking intellectually dishonest game of all time, bro. I told you how, and I ended up 3-2, so don't make fun of me. I was above 500 this week. But that was, people look at the score and they say, you got nothing to complain about, man. That was a bad beat. If you were on the over in that game, brother, those offenses, and maybe that's what Vegas knows, is in short yardage situations, dude, they were awful. And I actually bet the Dolphins in the second half, and I almost fucking contacted my senator. Because it was just, let's have fun tonight. Let's bet the under. Let's bet the under, shall we? Windy night in Philly. Intense football game. Intense football game. Campbell versus Sirianni. Woo! Somebody says, nice out here, though. Where's out here? Is it too late? Is it too late? Wind is going to be a factor. All right. I need an ollie, bro. Donald Freeman, shut it with the beats. No one fucking cared. Dude, you're in my kitchen. Go home to your tiny little kitchen. Go home to your little kitchen. This is my YouTube page. I give you 30 minutes of impromptu analysis after a football game, and all I want to do is watch a Sunday night football game. Nobody cares about the beats. You don't have a fucking choice. Consume other content, brother. Donald Freeman. You've been in here 30 minutes, bro. You don't get to say who cares. You're paying my bills, Donald. Thank you. Open the fridge and have a fucking high C, buddy. I got a kid's refrigerator. Take it easy. How do I feel with the Eagles-Bears alliance? I don't think I know what you mean. Oh, yeah, tonight? It's pretty fun. Pretty fun thing. Eagles and Bears fans on top of the world. 7-win teams. Let's go. Y'all take care.